Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that affects almost all of us at some point. Dating. But we're not just talking about what to wear or where to go. We're going to explore the fascinating psychology behind dating. Why do we feel that instant spark with some people and not others? What's really going on in our brains when we swipe right or feel those first date jitters? Stick around, because understanding the science can seriously level up your dating game. Let's start with the very first impression, attraction. You might think it's all about looks, but it's so much more complex. Psychologically, attraction is a cocktail of different factors. One of the biggest is proximity. The mere exposure effect tells us that we tend to develop a preference for people simply because we're familiar with them. That colleague you see every day or the person you always bump into at the coffee shop. The more you see them, the more likely you are to find them attractive. It's our brain's way of saying this person is safe and familiar. Then there's similarity. We're often drawn to people who are like us. This isn't just about sharing a favorite movie or pizza topping. It's about having similar values, beliefs, and even a similar level of intelligence or attractiveness. This is known as the matching hypothesis. It's comforting to be with someone who gets our world, who laughs at the same jokes, and who sees things the way we do. It validates our own choices and makes us feel understood. But what about the old saying, opposites attract? Well, there's some truth to that too, but it's more about complementary traits than being complete opposites. For example, if you're a bit more introverted, you might be drawn to an extrovert who helps you get out of your shell. It's not about fundamental differences in values, but rather about qualities that balance each other out and help us grow. Think of it like two puzzle pieces that fit together perfectly, even though they have different shapes. Now, let's talk about the brain on a date. When you meet someone you're into, your brain releases a flood of chemicals. Dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, spikes, which is why those initial stages of dating can feel so exhilarating and almost addictive. It's the same chemical that's released when we eat our favorite food or achieve a goal. Your brain is essentially rewarding you for pursuing a potential partner. At the same time, your levels of serotonin, a chemical that regulates mood and anxiety, can actually drop. This might explain why we can feel a bit anxious or obsessive in the early days of a romance, constantly checking our phones for a new message. And let's not forget oxytocin, often called the cuddle hormone. It's released through physical touch, like holding hands or hugging, and it plays a huge role in creating feelings of bonding and attachment. So you've survived the first date. What happens next? This is where attachment styles come into play. Developed in childhood, our attachment style dictates how we behave in relationships as adults. There are generally 4 types: secure, anxious, avoidant, and disorganized. Someone with a secure attachment style feels comfortable with intimacy and isn't worried about being abandoned. They find it easy to trust others and build healthy, stable relationships. They communicate their needs clearly and can handle conflict constructively. On the other hand, someone with an anxious attachment style often craves closeness, but worries their partner doesn't feel the same. They might need a lot of reassurance and can be sensitive to any sign of distance, sometimes leading to behaviors that can inadvertently push their partner away. Then we have the avoidant attachment style. These individuals value their independence and freedom, sometimes to a fault. They might feel uncomfortable with too much closeness and may pull away when a relationship starts to get serious. It's not that they don't have feelings. They just have a deep-seated fear of depending on others. Finally, the disorganized style is a mix of anxious and avoidant behaviors. It's less common, but these individuals often have a history of trauma and find relationships confusing and frightening, simultaneously wanting and fearing intimacy. Understanding your own attachment style and that of your potential partner is a game changer. It helps you understand your own patterns and reactions. If you're anxious, you can learn to self-soothe instead of immediately seeking external validation. If you're avoidant, you can practice being more vulnerable. Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward building healthier, more secure connections. If you find these patterns are causing you a lot of distress, talking to a therapist can be incredibly helpful in navigating them. Now let's get practical. How can you use this psychology to improve your dating life? First, be mindful of your nonverbal cues. Research shows that things like open body language, uncrossing your arms, making eye contact, and smiling can make you appear far more approachable and attractive. It signals to the other person's brain that you are open and receptive. Mimicking your date's body language subtly, known as the chameleon effect, can also build rapport and a sense of connection without you even saying a word. Second, ask the right questions. Instead of just, what do you do for work? Try asking questions that invite vulnerability and storytelling. Psychologist Arthur Aaron developed a set of 36 questions designed to create intimacy between two strangers. You don't have to go through all of them on a first date, but the principle is powerful. Ask things like, what's something you're really passionate about? Or, what's a memory you cherish? These questions bypass small talk and get to the heart of who a person is. Third, embrace vulnerability. This is a tough one for many of us. We're taught to put our best foot forward and hide our flaws. But psychologist Brené Brown's research shows that vulnerability is actually the birthplace of connection. Sharing something real about yourself, a fear, a dream, a past struggle, is an invitation for the other person to do the same. It's a powerful signal of trust. Of course, this doesn't mean oversharing on the first date, but gradually letting your guard down is key to building a genuine bond. Let's also talk about the digital age of dating. Dating apps have completely changed the landscape. The endless swiping can trigger what psychologists call choice overload. When presented with too many options, we can become paralyzed and less satisfied with the choice we eventually make. It's like being at a buffet with 100 dishes. You end up sampling a little of everything, but never truly enjoying a full meal. To combat this, be more intentional with your use of apps. Instead of swiping endlessly, set a limit. Focus on a few conversations at a time and actually invest in getting to know those people. And remember, a profile is just a snapshot. The real chemistry, the real psychology, happens when you meet in person. The goal of the app should be to get to an actual date, not to have an endless pen pal. Finally, let's talk about rejection. It's an inevitable part of dating, and it stings. Our brains actually process the pain of social rejection in the same areas that process physical pain. So yes, it literally hurts. But here's the key, don't personalize it. When someone isn't interested, it's usually not a reflection of your worth. It's about compatibility, timing, their own attachment style, or 100 other things you have no control over. A great way to build resilience is to practice self-compassion. Instead of beating yourself up, treat yourself with the same kindness you would offer a friend. Acknowledge that it feels bad, remind yourself that it happens to everyone, and then focus on something that makes you feel good about yourself. Your value isn't determined by who wants to date you. So to recap, attraction is a mix of proximity, similarity, and balance. Your brain on a date is a whirlwind of feel-good and anxious chemicals. Your attachment style shapes how you connect with others. And you can actively use psychology through body language, deep questions, and vulnerability to build better connections. Dating can feel like a mystery, but when you pull back the curtain, you see it's all about human psychology. Understanding these principles doesn't give you a magic formula, but it does give you a map. It helps you navigate the ups and downs with more awareness, compassion, and confidence. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this look into the psychology of dating was helpful for you. What's the most surprising thing you learned? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. See you in the next one.